Alarm NBA DFS show with Jon Impemba and James Grande.
What's going on, FA Nation? Jon Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome to Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Playbook Preview Show. We have two games to talk about here. It is in-season tournament day. I'm Jon Impemba, joined by Jon Impemba here. If you look at the screen, name tags are the same here, James.
This is Spider-Man meme. Spider-Man meme.
I gotta update your name tag here. Two games to talk about for the
Joined by Jon.
Season tournament.
Oh, that's funny. That's
Boston versus Indiana, Pelicans versus Sacramento here. It's tournament week, so we have two games on Monday and Tuesday. We have 15 games or something like that. Basically on Wednesday. Was it 2 games Thursday, big slate on Friday, no games on Saturday?
No. In-season tournament final is on Saturday.
In-season tournament finals on Saturday, no game Sunday. So, yeah, it's going to be a crazy schedule. We're going to bring you live shows on Wednesdays and Friday this week. We'll obviously have the pre-show here for everybody throughout the week. So only 2 live shows here on the week, but we're going to get ready for this in-season tournament game. I'll say the one thing we learned so far with in-season tournament games is teams are treating this sort of like a playoff game. Starters are playing a billion minutes. Doesn't really matter what the maybe now tiebreakers don't matter, but they mattered last round. We saw
they don't.
Teams that starters out scoring as many points as possible. But believe it or not, they do want to win this. So we might see shortened rotations. We may see stars playing a bunch of minutes here, which is good for fantasy. Helps us kind of figure out which guys we want exposure to. If we're going to get 38 minutes of Halliburton, Tatum, Fox, Sabonis, Zion, all that stuff here, it's going to be great for fantasy.
Yeah, just making sure I looked. And so winners just advance to the semifinal here, and then the final is on Saturday. So it's just straight tournament style right now. Win or go home. This round is played. So Indiana's a home team, Sacramento's a home team, and then the next 2 games are played in Las Vegas. So the semifinal and the final are played in Vegas. It's going to be an interesting one. You mentioned they want to win. We saw Joe Mazzulla fouling Andre Drummond up 40 in their last in-season tournament game that caused Billy Donovan to lose some hairs and just not understand the rules. But that's the rules. And them the breaks, John. So it should be a fun one. Boston, as we mentioned, on the road here, 5-point favorites in Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
That leads me to believe Tyrese Halliburton's playing. I know Halliburton's questionable and stuff, but If they're only 5-point favorites in Indiana, I know Indiana just outright beat the Heat without Halliburton, but Boston's a different team than Miami is. And then New Orleans on the road are 4-point dogs in Sacramento. Both totals 239 on BetMGM. Actually, it's 240.5 in Boston, Indiana, and then the New Orleans Sacramento game 235.5. So there should be a lot of points scored in these 2 games. Yeah. And as you mentioned,
Pacers, any game with the Pacers.
Any game. That's true. Any game with the Pacers is
a ridiculous thing there. So
I mean, the Heat and the Pacers just put up 260 points in back-to-back games.
The Heat used to be one of the slowest paced teams, lowest scoring. I mean, it's just
that was without Bam for 2 games, and Halliburton in one.
Pacers and crazy. Hawks. If you're in a game with the Pacers and Hawks this year, you're scoring 260 plus. It feels like here. All right, let's get into it. We're gonna with this 2-game slate. We're gonna go team by team, game by game here. Looking at the Celtics roster here. Tatum 10-1, JB 8-2. No Kristaps Porzingis. So Al Horford starting at $6,200. You get the guard duo $69.66. And then again, I wonder what their bench rotation is going to look like. Does Hauser play more than 20 minutes? Does Pritchard play more than 15? Cornette probably gets 14. I got to imagine Queta doesn't see any playing time here with it being an in-season tournament game. On the 4-game slate like this, where does Tatum rank for you when it comes to the big stars on the slate?
I mean, he's up there. I would say De'Aaron Fox and Halliburton are probably 1 and 2 for me, and then you probably look at Tatum. But I mean, I shouldn't say that because we are, as you mentioned, like gonna get a Jason Tatum coming off one. He was ejected last game.
Yeah.
He was acting a fool.
They rescinded the flagrant one on him though, right? So the refs were just like wrong.
Okay, so that was that's interesting. But he is definitely, going to try to take this game over. And we talked about it. Like Indiana still like number one in pace. It's really not even close to the rest of the field. And they're 29th in defense. So
Right.
you take a look at Boston. They're going to play 5 guys. And you talk about the rotation. Like, I don't know. Like Hauser played 21 minutes in that in-season tournament game against Chicago. Missoula's kind of taking it serious, right? Like he is Pritchard played 23, and that's back-to-back games where he's played 23. So maybe like those are the only 2 other names I would even contemplate, but I don't even think I would get there. I think it's the main guys, Tatum being the top guy here, 53 fantasy points in 26 minutes against Indiana earlier in the year. Without Kristaps Porzingis this year, 1.33 fantasy points per minute, 33% usage rate. That's the 3rd highest usage bump on the team, and it's behind Lamar Stevens, so technically the 2nd highest.
Yeah.
Team. So like Tatum is number 1 with a bullet on this team, and then it's like the guy you're flashing is probably number 2,
right?
He's been really good. That double block that he had the other day against was it against Vucevic? It was against Vuce, right?
Yeah.
Where he blocked, recovered. Jalen went up for the block, and Al said, "I got this, buddy."
Yeah.
And he double blocked Vuce. Like he looks super spry.
I thought they were going to be limiting him. They didn't want to put all these heavy minutes on him, and they were because Porzingis is in. Porzingis hasn't played now, and you're getting 31, 33, 32, 28, and 33 minutes from Horford in like monster production for him. The guy continues to fill out the stat sheet. You got a 20 actual point game out of him against Philly, 16, 9, 6, 3, 2 against Chicago. Yeah, I'm with you. Against Atlanta, again, we talk pace up spots here. 32 minutes, 6, 15, 3, 2, 1, 35 fantasy points. You only need 30 for 5x return here. And he's giving you over that now in 4 of the last 5. So, yeah, I'm all in. I'm with you here. This feels like such a great spot. If they're going to give him 34 plus minutes in this because they care about the in-season tournament game, Horford can have a field day here.
This is how I'd rank Boston, I think. I was just looking through it. Tatum 1, Horford 2. Horford, honestly, he might be like 1A, 1B because Horford 6,200, power forward center. Like, that's pretty good. I think Derek White would be 3rd. Derek White's looked really, really good of late. 35 fantasy points per game over his last 5. 31, 42, 33, 41 over his last 4. He gets the biggest usage bump without Kristaps Porzingis on the floor. 3.2% usage up to 21%. That's solid. 1.1 fantasy points per minute. Higher than Jaylen Brown, Al Horford, and Drew Holiday. So
where's Romeo Langford these days?
Yeah, where is Romeo? That's a great
trade. What a trade!
That was what a trade. Second, what was it? Romeo Langford and a 2nd round pick, I believe, right? Wasn't that like?
It might have even been a 1st round, but I don't even think it matters. Like,
yeah, who cares? Nah, who cares? I would say Derek White is 3rd, and then probably Holiday, Brown. Brown's. I'm never going to say like Brown can't have a ceiling because he did a couple games ago in the in-season tournament, but like few and far between the ceiling games for Jaylen Brown. Maybe because it's a smaller slate. This is a slate you look into like getting to Jaylen Brown because he has good eligibility.
I think if you're looking for optimals, guys that have the highest ceilings. Now, again, we talk about this all the time. Like we've seen Drew Holiday go for 40 plus. We've seen Derek White go for 40 plus. Tatum's gone for 70. Jaylen Brown hit 50 the other day, right? I think he's had a couple of 50s. He had a 58 fantasy point game against Washington earlier this year. So, like, you're talking guys at floors. His floor is probably 35 fantasy points in this matchup. His ceiling, though, as we say, has been a 60. So, he's right there. If things aren't going well for Tatum, Brown, we know can take over. But I'm with you. At $8,200, you're basically getting the same night-to-night production out of Derek White for cheaper. So I'm with you. I think I would go there. And consider Brown a multi-tournament play. We'll build the lineups. For the Pacers, again, it all really hangs on Halliburton because if Halliburton's out, TJ McConnell is going to be 99%
99%.
Right? Like 2-game slate, $3,400 coming off of a 40 fantasy point effort here at 25 minutes. He will be in every single lineup probably imaginable.
Can't make it up.
Why wouldn't you? He's $3,400.
And it doesn't matter that he comes off the bench because he came off the bench and closed. He closed that game. Like he was the closer over Nembhard. That is also because Nembhard shot awfully. 1 for 9 from the floor. Nembhard still had over 1 fantasy point per minute in that game because he had 11 assists. But like, if McConnell is going to do that, which I'm not going to ever sit here and say TJ McConnell is going to go 10 for 11 from the floor. But we've seen him play 2 games of 25 minutes, John. He has gone 10 for 11 and 8 of 13 from the floor in those 2 games.
Yeah.
He can't shoot threes, but he does literally everything else. And it actually like surprises me more than it doesn't that he is like a third point guard on a team because he is like, when Halliburton's there, he is definitively the third guy. Like Nembhard is the clear backup, and Nembhard even plays with Halliburton. Like McConnell goes games where he doesn't play. Like there's stretches where he doesn't play, and then they're like, all right, TJ, get out there for 15 tonight, and wreak some havoc. But I would probably not like would any shot you would get to McConnell if Halliburton played.
No,
because he's probably limited to 14 minutes, and in best case scenario, you need him to like have one of those like crazy where he gets like 2 steals, 3 assists, hits 2 buckets, gets 2 rebounds, and you're like, all right, well that's 5x, but probably not. What if Halliburton's in? What do you think?
Well, yeah, I mean Halliburton's in. He's got 70 plus fantasy points off the last game. I would probably. I mean, the other game is obviously a bit more appealing from a competitive standpoint. It feels like Pelicans and Kings here, but that he's not going to come off the floor, right? I mean,
it is in Indiana for what it's worth.
Yeah. I have no problems going here. It's just a tough backcourt. We know that. We talk about it.
What do you do against them?
He didn't play.
He didn't play. Oh, he didn't play. But yeah, that's why Tatum. That's why Tatum had 50 and 30 points in 26 minutes because that game was not competitive. What else? Like,
I feel like I would probably get maybe Buddy Hield here. The way he's been shooting the ball.
Toppin questionable.
Yeah, Obi Toppin's questionable. Neesmith would start in a spot. Revenge game, Aaron Neesmith against the team that traded him away.
Hates.
I know.
I've told you a couple times that he posted on Instagram like a couple times about the Celtics. Like he is not happy.
Dart throw Isaiah Jackson with no Jalen Smith. I mean, I don't know.
Even in the game where they just went small because they played Neesmith and Toppin.
Sure.
I think they could probably do that with Boston because
we missed the Bruce Brown 30-point actual game. Right?
Yeah, of course we did.
I don't really love this team. I got to be honest with you. I like Halliburton. I think McConnell's a great value play if he's out. I don't know if I would go to much else here.
So I mean, there's obviously I have a little different take. Now this is contingent if Tyrese doesn't play. Mm-hmm. Ben Mathurin was the first guy off the bench. He got in big foul trouble in that Miami game. He had 3 first half fouls. He also had like 14 actual in the first half.
Yeah, we know he can be a bucket.
So I would look at Mathurin if there's no Halliburton. I also think he could play in blowouts. I would also play Nembhard 4,100. I would go back to 1 for 9 shooting. He's a 45% shooter on the year. Like 1 for 9 is pretty hard to predict he'd do again. Still in a 1 for 9 game, Nembhard has 11 assists and goes for over a fantasy point per minute. So if there's no Halliburton, like Indiana's the clear source of value on this slate, whether you think the game can stay competitive or not. There's a scenario where like the winning lineup has 4 Indiana guys because you have 1, 2, 3, 4 guys under 5K that might play 30 minutes on Indiana. So Bruce Brown would obviously be firmly in play if Halliburton's out. So there's a lot of Halliburton's out. If Halliburton's in, I largely agree. Halliburton, you can take darts on Neesmith, Mathurin, Nembhard, all them, but nothing more than darts.
Pelicans. Sacramento, next game here. Zion's 87 as your highest cost Pelican, which is, I think, worth noting. Ingram 81, McCollum here at 8K. Considered.
I don't think we'll get an injury report. They had a back-to-back. They didn't. Both he and Trey Murphy did not play the second leg of a back-to-back. So I expect them to both be in.
I agree with you. I was gonna say I imagine he'll be good to go here. Valanciunas, Herb, Trey. What did Trey play in his first game? 22 minutes. Pretty good right away.
Dude.
It's pretty good right off the bat. 22 minutes. So again, I feel like these guys are all very reasonably priced.
This is gonna be a fun game. We've actually seen this game twice. The Kings have let us down both times.
Yes.
If you don't remember,
I do.
I have touted the Kings really heavily in both these spots, and they got smashed in both these spots.
Both times in New Orleans, this time in Sacramento.
Zion continues to look awesome, even in that loss against the Bulls. Love to see him actually playing on a back-to-back, too. That was very encouraging. 30 minutes on the second leg of a back-to-back. You can get to Zion if you'd like. Ingram firmly in play. Ingram has a very safe floor. Still has upside. Dude, McCollum, second game back off a punctured lung or collapsed lung. 38 minutes. Like,
he's
no limitations. He's back.
And now you have a tournament game. Like, the bench may not see any minutes.
Valanciunas, 36 minutes in that Chicago game. Are you kidding me? Like, what? What world are we living in that Jonas Valanciunas has now played 30?
We want to see it.
We do want to see it. There's obviously foul risk in this matchup with Sabonis. He's averaged 4 fouls across 24 minutes a game against the Kings this year. We know Valanciunas can be a pretty foul happy guy. No, I'm not gonna sit here and say he's Jaren Jackson Jr. or anything, but he can be. Herb played 36 minutes and had a big game. If he's lower owned than Trey Murphy, because I think Trey Murphy came back and was kind of wowed people. He had a monster dunk. He hit 4 threes, did exactly what Trey Murphy does. I would rather play Herb if he's lower owned, because Trey Murphy's not just going to go from 22 to 42 minutes in the second game. So whoever's the lower owned of Herb and Trey Murphy, I would probably get to. Murphy is a little better priced. He obviously has better scoring ceiling on a night-to-night basis and has better eligibility, but dude, we know Herb's a freaking menace.
Well, it's a defense. I mean, obviously inconsistent assists, 0-6, 0-4. Played 31 minutes in that game that Murphy came back. So maybe we assume that's sort of his minutes role here.
Yep.
If he hits his shots, he gives you 30. When he misses his shots, he gives you 17, or 20. That's just kind of where he's at. So I don't mind it. I think it's fine there. You mentioned Murphy, 51, again in play. What do you do with these bench guys, huh? Daniels played 12 in that game. Hawkins played 15, right? These guys are all done, right? Alvarado probably got a run 9 minutes. I mean, nobody played when everybody was healthy here. So
there's not a lot to like. The only scenario that you can, I think, subscribe to is Valanciunas gets in foul trouble. They play Zion at the 5, and then Najee Marshall is getting extra run, but then again, you can just play Herb and Murphy together. So I don't know.
Sure.
I maybe a dart at Najee Marshall at 4,600, but it's not like Najee Marshall's too cheap. He played 19 minutes in Trey Murphy's return, so maybe he's the 6th man or 7th man, I should say.
Possibly. Sacramento, $9,900 for Sabonis. Fox is 96, and a big dump off. Murray, Horder, Monk, Barnes, that whole crew there. The appealing ones are obviously the expensive ones. Well, they're appealing.
Well, no, they are appealing. They are appealing for sure. I'm just saying. Oh, dude, he is so. He was talking smack, dude. I was watching that Kings game last night.
So
Keegan played last game.
All right.
Dude, he closed over Keegan Murray because I get it. I 100% agree. Keegan Murray, better defender. Keegan Murray going to defend the best player.
I was going to say, if Keegan Murray plays more than the 23 minutes in his second game back here, where's the Monk minutes coming from, right?
Porter.
Well, I guess it could be Kevin. Could be Kevin Porter for sure.
Look, you're 100% right. De'Aaron Fox is too good. 9,600 is too good. Just play him. He's probably my first plug of the day.
I mean, 66, 54, 52, 65.
It's insane. He leads the league in fourth quarter points, by the way. After winning the last year's inaugural Clutch Player of the Year, he led the league in fourth quarter scoring last year as well. So if you're not having a good day with De'Aaron Fox through three quarters, don't you worry. He will get it going in the fourth. Sabonis, I've touted him twice in this spot, and he's let me down, but nothing like going back to the well for a third time.
Right.
Dude, I just think like this team with Malik Monk scoring the way he's scoring. I heard the stat if in 12 games he scored 20 points for them, and over the last 2 years, they have not lost. Might as well just go home because you're going to get the production from Sabonis, you're going to get the production from Fox,
right?
And then you're pairing in this dude off the bench who you can't stop. When he's going good, we know he's a bucket, and
Agreed.
I mean, the minutes have, and I know you brought up a good point, like largely in part to Keegan Murray not being there, but 26 minutes plus in 5 straight games.
Yep.
Now maybe he is someone you fade here because he's going to be popular for sure, right? Like we've seen Malik Monk every slate essentially. Like we're going to be like, oh wow, he's 40% owned again. It's a 2-game slate. He's going to be 50% owned. He's like kind of cheap, multi-position eligibility versus like Huerter for $200 more, who's just a shooting guard. And maybe Huerter's a good pivot in GPPs. Maybe Keegan Murray's a good pivot in GPPs. Right. But like, if Monk is scoring the way he has scored lately, he's going to be on. He's going to.
Yeah, you need him in the winning lineup.
He's going to be on the floor.
I agree. No arguments. Would you play anybody below? I mean, is there any bench guys here that you would have interest in?
Mr. Whitebread is fine. You know what's
the most secure minutes of like the
most secure. You know what's incredibly tilting, John? Go look at Trey Lyles. Do you see that status report?
Out with a sprained ankle.
Do you see the day that it was listed?
12-1.
Okay, now click on the game log, please.
Yeah.
He played.
Well, he did.
Yep. He played.
That's unfortunate.
Yep. I in my late window, I played Sasha Vezenkov.
How did that do for you?
He did not play very many minutes.
Doesn't seem like he played at all.
No, he really didn't play at all.
14 minutes, yeah.
So that's super tilting. I would probably, like, if I played anybody else, him, maybe that's it. Like, you can't. Harry Barnes or Vezenkov, because, like, they're playing 38 minutes.
So now the question goes here. We're going to build a lineup.
Yep.
There's not a lot of value.
No.
But we have to figure out somebody to play for.
De'Aaron Fox.
I
think it's De'Aaron Fox, right? Like, I feel like because like if we didn't want to play Tatum, the Boston mid-tier guys are great, right? Like we're playing Al Horford, we're playing Derek White. Like both those guys feel very secure.
I'm just clicking through. You tell me what you think. 5K play. We're just like running out of money.
Matherin's gonna play 25 minutes. Smith? Yeah, that works too.
57.
Malik. Oh, we already have Monk. Brucey B.
I don't know.
Or Herb.
You tell me. Like that's what I'm saying. Like you can't really spend up for.
If you take Valanciunas, do you want to play Valanciunas?
I mean, I just kind of plugged him in because I felt like he fit.
You could do Horford at the 5 and maybe Herb at the 4, and then we can probably come off Bruce Brown or Neesmith at the 4, and then we can do those final 2 positions over.
Smith.
Then Horford at center.
87K a play. I got rid of Fox, by the way. I just put McCollum there, but we can go.
Oh my gosh.
CV Fox. 5,100 a play still.
Matherin? I don't think there's like any forward value that I like.
Well, that's kind of why I was saying, like, maybe like it's not
spend up. It's just not a spend up.
Not a spend up. This is 6,600 a play. I mentioned Monk there, 7K a play. I mean, does Keegan play? I mean,
he's good defensively, so
Zion and like Carrie B. Are you like Matherin as a high?
I don't hate Zion. Are you comfortable with Zion as like the?
I think a fair and balanced build is a way to go unless someone gets ruled out here, because I don't know, unless it's just like you accept 15 fantasy points from like Sam Hauser, in season tournament
points.
Yeah, in season tournament game, he played 21 minutes in that game. So
him and Pritchard played the most minutes. Pritchard played 23 off the bench.
Right. So I mean, like,
but Pritchard also has. I feel like Hauser's minutes are probably more secure night to night than Pritchard, right? Like Pritchard fluctuates is like 13 to 23. Hauser's just like 20, 25, 23, 20, 22, 20.
So I mean, like, again, just an example here, but we have it's a relatively fair and balanced lineup, but we know Williamson and McCollum can go for 40, 50. White can give you 40. Horford can give you 40.
Yep.
So yeah, you guys should have some fun building some lineups here. Hopefully we get maybe some value on the slate. Otherwise, you might just be plugging a guy that you hope gets 15 fantasy points because you're getting 70 from Halliburton or something, right?
I hope we don't get value. Because I don't want to play TJ McConnell for 90 and 99% on it. I don't. But like, what am I gonna do? I'm not gonna be the 1% that fades TJ McConnell like in that situation. Fox. Oh,
easy.
Oh, baby, easy game we play. Obviously,
right,
there'd be obviously pivots as well too, because like you could play like 4 Indiana guys.
Agreed. So that's a 2-game breakdown here. Everybody get us on the Discord. Find us on Twitter. We'll have the write-up playbook out for everybody. Again, no live show on these 2-game slates. We will have live shows Wednesdays and Fridays this week, including our Friday Listener League. So be on the lookout for all that. For now, though, James and I will catch you guys tomorrow.